When the railway first came to Brighton in 1840, it transformed the sleepy seaside village. Ever since, it's become a magnet for tourism, and 1.5 million people now visit the city every year. In 1883, Magnus Volks built one of the world's first electric railways right here on the seafront. But what today's passengers might not know is that one of its drivers is drawing significant crowds of his own. Under the name King of Cats, Max Levy has headlined gigs across the UK. In autumn, he'll be touring America. He's also released 6 records produced right here in his bedroom. This approach is called DIY, or do it yourself. It's as far removed from the glamour of the Brit Awards as you're ever likely to get.
We found his collection of porn underneath that bridge.
Lobbying group UK Music claim Britain's music industry contributes £3.5 billion to the economy every year. But for Max, their understanding is problematic.
The whole thing is really bad. It's just all a bit dull and involves linking music with money in a way that is unsatisfactory and that affects the making of music very poorly.
In a venue beneath Brighton Station, Play Lounge have just arrived in time for a homecoming gig. They ended up hitchhiking via Swindon to get here after their van broke down at a service station. Together with Max, they're part of a nationwide collective called Reeks of Effort. The project was designed to make it easier for bands to organise DIY tours. But if being snapped up by an A&R man isn't the aim of the game, what is?
It's like it's the journey rather than like a destination. It's not supposed to like go in a particular place. It's just what you're doing while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like hanging out with your friends, but everyone's in bands and we all like bands, so it's just a really great hangout.
Within Brighton's DIY community are smaller ones carving out their own individual niches. There are scenes covering dozens of microgenres. Das Kinsey 4 are one of the biggest names in the city's queercore scene, an offshoot of punk focusing on LGBT and gender issues. They recently played to record-breaking crowds at Brighton's 25th annual Pride Festival.
Colours, salty, protect you from living. The ink in your skin to make you feel for 5 seconds. Punch your ribs so that no one can see your bruises fade with my alcohol.
With over 500 bands and 150 places you can see them, why is there so much DIY music in Brighton?
It's not so spread out, really.
It's just a really little town though, isn't it? Like it's just really easy to do things in it. Just take a walk everywhere, just bump into people, shows all the time, it's cool.
The DIY spirit traces its roots back to punk. In the late 70s, 64 Brighton bands practiced and performed in a space called the Vault. But what are the issues affecting the scene today? What are the stories behind the songs? And what exactly is going on in small venues, bedrooms and rehearsal spaces across the city? Bindi is here to find out.